When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Imagine surviving Auschwitz, losing everything, and still believing life has meaning. Today on BookLia, we explore Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, a timeless book born in the darkest place on earth, offering a light that continues to guide millions. Let's begin. Published in 1946, just a year after World War II ended, Man's Search for Meaning has sold over 16 million copies and been translated into more than 50 languages. It's more than a memoir. It's part survival story, part psychological theory, and part spiritual guide. Frankl, a Jewish psychiatrist from Vienna, spent 3 years in Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz. He lost his parents, his pregnant wife, and nearly his own life. But he noticed something powerful: those who had a reason to live, some meaning to hold on to, were far more likely to survive. Out of that observation, he built a philosophy called logotherapy, the belief that life's deepest drive is not pleasure or power, but purpose. Viktor Frankl was born in 1905 in Vienna, Austria. From a young age, he was drawn to psychology, particularly the work of Freud and Adler. But Frankl believed that human beings were more than drives and instincts. He thought we were spiritual beings, always searching for meaning, especially in suffering. When the Nazis rose to power, Frankl had the chance to flee to the US, but chose to stay in Vienna to protect his aging parents. In 1942, he and his family were sent to the Theresienstadt ghetto, then Auschwitz, and later Dachau. He survived slave labor, starvation, and the deaths of nearly everyone he loved. But he also witnessed the power of the human spirit. Even in the worst conditions, some prisoners shared their bread, comforted others, and clung to hope. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That choice, Frankl believed, was where true freedom lived. Frankl rejected the idea that suffering made life meaningless. Instead, he argued, suffering reveals meaning. Even in pain, we can choose how to respond. Even when powerless, we have the power to give our pain a purpose. Logotherapy teaches that meaning can be found in 3 ways: through work or creation, through love or relationship, through how we face suffering. He wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." Here are 5 life lessons from Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. A Holocaust survivor's timeless guide to purpose, pain, and the power of the human spirit. 1. You always have the power to choose your response. Viktor Frankl endured the unimaginable. He lost his family, his freedom, his future. He was stripped of everything, except one thing: his inner freedom. In the darkest corners of Auschwitz, Frankl discovered a powerful truth. No one can take away your ability to choose your response. The one thing you can't take away from me is the way I choose to respond to what you do to me. There's a space, he says, between what happens and how we react. And in that space lives our power to remain human. The lesson? You may not choose your pain, but you can choose your dignity. You may not stop the storm, but you decide who you become within it. Freedom is not the absence of suffering. It's the ability to stay free inside, even when everything else is taken. 2. Meaning is found, not given. In a world obsessed with finding happiness, Frankl offers something deeper: meaning. And meaning, he says, is not handed to you by life. You have to discover it, even in pain, even in suffering. In the concentration camps, prisoners who had something to live for, even just a belief, a dream, a memory, were the ones who endured. Suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. Frankl didn't ask, Why is this happening to me? He asked, what is this asking of me? The insight? We can't control life's questions, but we can choose how to answer. Don't wait for life to give you meaning. Give meaning to life, through courage, through service, through love. 3. Love is the ultimate meaning. Inside the barbed wires and hopelessness of the camps, Frankl discovered that love is not limited by presence or distance. He would think about his wife, unsure if she was alive, and yet, the thought of her gave him strength beyond imagination. He realized that love connects us to the essence of another human being, even when everything else is taken. Love is the only way to grasp another human being in the innermost core of his personality. Even when you are stripped bare, love remains. Even in silence, it speaks. Even in pain, it uplifts. The message? Love is not just an emotion. It's a purpose, a force, a reason to endure what seems unendurable. In our deepest suffering, it is often love that saves us. 4. Purpose comes from serving something beyond yourself. Frankl's entire philosophy, logotherapy, teaches that true fulfillment doesn't come from pleasure or success. It comes from serving something greater than yourself. A mission, a person, a cause, a responsibility. Even in the camps, prisoners who still felt they had a task to complete, like a book to write or a child to raise, were far more likely to survive. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. The takeaway? Ask not what you can get from life, but what you can give. Purpose is not found in comfort. It's found in commitment, to someone or something beyond your own needs. This is where lasting fulfillment begins. 5. Pain can be transformed into meaning. Frankl didn't escape pain. He was immersed in it. But he didn't let it define him, he transformed it. After the war, he returned to Vienna and wrote Man's Search for Meaning in just 9 days. Not to tell a horror story, but to offer a map. A guide for anyone suffering. A reminder that even the worst pain can become part of something greater. In some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. The final lesson? Don't run from pain. Don't numb it or bury it. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? Let pain deepen your purpose, not destroy it. Because meaning turns scars into strength, and suffering into transformation. Viktor Frankl lived until 1997, authored 39 books, and taught his philosophy across the world. He turned trauma into therapy, and despair into direction. His book has comforted survivors, prisoners, patients, and seekers for over 75 years. It reminds us, even in our darkest moments, we are not powerless. Our response, our purpose, is always within reach. So, let me ask you, which of Frankl's lessons moved you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you're on your own search for meaning, subscribe to BookLia for stories that uplift and transform. This is BookLia, one book, big insights.